For today's video, we're going to be doing something that's radically different. I have an incredibly bold proposition for brands. I know how to launch a YouTube channel network. I've done it before. I can walk you through that, but I actually want to focus on you. Today, we're going to be looking at several different brands: Kevin Hart, First We Feast, Hot Ones, Critical Role, and then finally Good Mythical Morning. And we're going to learn how to do a YouTube network correctly. So this is scalable, multi-million-dollar network level advice that I have given to multiple brands, and CNET actually took my advice. A few others have taken my advice over the years. GameSpot, notably, they've done a really good job of this. But I'm going to essentially be giving you network level advice on how to grow your YouTube channel. So this is multi-million-dollar network level advice. This is not going to apply to you if you're a little guy. But first off, I want to talk about the problem. And I'm going to open up a screen share so that you can understand what I mean. First We Feast is our first example on the list. First We Feast is a channel that's been around for a really long time. I think, let me look at their most popular. I think something like 8 years, 7 or 8 years. And really, the First We Feast channel is Hot Ones. Now, they will argue that they're a destination for food entertainment content, but if you look at the difference between the views of any given First We Feast video, which is anywhere from like 2 million to 14 million views, and then you look at any of their other shows, Snacked, Pizza Wars, what else? Let's scroll through the list. Hungry for More. None of these shows have anywhere near as many views. They're lucky to attract 1 to 3% of their subscriber base, whereas Hot Ones consistently attracts nearly a third or more of the subscriber base that First We Feast has. Laugh Out Loud Network. Here's another channel that has a huge problem. Laugh Out Loud Network is basically Kevin Hart's YouTube network. It's all Kevin Hart. So as soon as you launch a show that doesn't have Kevin Hart, you're just not going to get a ton of views. So let's take a look at some of the other content they have going. Oh wait, they don't have any, because if Kevin's not in the video gets no views. How do I know this? Well, because I worked for this brand, and we saw a huge difference between Kevin content and non-Kevin content, and it was a huge problem. If Kevin Hart wasn't in the video wasn't going to get that many views, and you can see that when you scroll through this channel and you look at the channel's content. Now, what do? That's the problem. I have this big hit show. By the way, what a great problem to have. I have this big hit show, or I have this big hit personality, and they're doing such a great job and they're getting a ton of views, but now they're so popular, every other show I post doesn't do nearly as well, and it never will. You actually can't fix that. There's no solution for that. You've built an audience around this great show that's become a hit. The channel's essentially been taken over by that show. What do? Well, I'll tell you what Critical Role did. Critical Role became a hit show on Geek and Sundry. Geek and Sundry had a ton of other shows, but basically it became the Critical Role channel. And Critical Role, what they did was they spun off into their own channel. So, all right, Laugh Out Loud Network and First We Feast, why don't you guys launch the Hot Ones channel? And then you have a Hot Ones channel, and then you don't have any more Hot Ones content on this channel. And then why don't you launch the Cold as Balls channel? So now you have a Cold as Balls channel, you have this hit show, you know your audience is going to migrate to the new channel because that's the content they want to see. And guess what? You could do a cross-promotion plan. You don't do this all at once. You upload a few Cold as Balls episodes. You have Kevin Hart say, hey, we're moving to a new channel. First We Feast. You have Sean Evans. He goes, hey, we're moving to a new channel. That audience moves because they love that content. So Critical Role did that, and guess what happened? Critical Role became an overnight success. They got millions of views, and they're regularly earning like 1 million views every time they post an episode. They've aggregated a hyper-specific audience, and Critical Role, this channel, became a success. Guess what happened to Geek and Sundry? They're struggling to stay afloat. They're not getting a ton of views, and that's really not because the content is bad. It's because Critical Role took over this channel. The people who are on Geek and Sundry, they're not watching Geek and Sundry. They're watching Critical Role because Critical Role took over the channel. So there is a solution to this, and it's not taking your most successful show on your existing channel and making a new channel, because then you lose that whole audience and you never get it back. Geek and Sundry is never going to get that critical role audience back. Everyone is essentially left Geek and Sundry. So how do you fix this problem? Well, here's the challenge. The proposition I have for you is risk. In businesses, we take risk. We undertake risk. And what's a manageable amount of risk versus an unmanageable amount of risk? So what I propose is essentially saying, well, you got to take the show that's not as successful, that maybe people aren't super hyped about, and you got to put it on its new channel so it can get its own audience. And that's really how you become a success. It's a high risk, high reward proposition, but it's going to pay off in the long term. So why do I have Good Mythical Morning open right now? By the way, if you're not familiar, Rhett and Link, YouTube legends, been around for over a decade. They started a show called Good Mythical Morning that actually became way more popular than their main channel, the channel they started on, and they just started rolling with it. Now here's where things get interesting. They launched a few other channels after Good Mythical Morning, notably Mythical Kitchen and Ear Biscuits. And how did they do that? Well, I want to focus more on Mythical Kitchen than Ear Biscuits, because Ear Biscuits is just more Rhett and Link. And most people who are here for Good Mythical Morning, they're going to follow Rhett and Link and watch whatever they do. So anybody's going to go fly over to the Ear Biscuits channel because they just want to follow Rhett and Link. You know, it's like if we moved Kevin Hart to a new channel, people are going to follow Kevin Hart. They're going to move with him. Same with the Critical Role cast. They'll move with them. So how do you get people to move to a lesser known name like this guy, whose name I'm actually admittedly and embarrassingly blanking on? I'm actually a huge fan of his content. Sorry, I'm just blanking on your name right now because I have like 20 tabs open and I'm trying to teach everybody this friggin' corporate concept. But it's essentially, you take a risk. And so this guy, their chef, you know, the mythical chef, you know, he's been in a ton of Rhett and Link's videos. He's prepared a ton of like bizarre recipes for Rhett and Link over the years. So people who are fans of Good Mythical Morning, who watch a lot of Good Mythical Morning, they all know who this guy is. All right, I'm just going to Google his fucking name. It's driving me crazy. Who's the host of Mythical Kitchen? Because I just stop calling him that guy. It's so rude. John Scherer. There we go. There you go. Okay, John Scherer. So there you go. So John has been with Good Mythical Morning for ages and ages. And so fans recognize John. And so when they launched this channel, you better believe they promoted it. They still had this huge promotional vehicle where they're getting 1 million views on every episode. They're saying, hey, go check out Good Mythical Kitchen, or excuse me, Mythical Kitchen, because that's where we're going to do more of this bizarre cooking content that you've already seen on our channel. So that's the secret, gang. You're not losing audience, and you're really not taking on that much risk either. Now, Critical Role, in the case of Critical Role, I think there were some issues with the studio and ownership issues, and I think Critical Role actually bought the rights out to their show, so this was inevitable, but it doomed Geek and Sundry. So I guess for Law Network and First We Feast, who are probably terrified of launching a new channel and undergoing the risk that entails, you're actually not taking as big of a risk as you think, because guess what? Every episode of Hot Ones gets 2 to 4 million views. Use the promotional vehicle that you've built, right? That gets sponsored. You know how sponsors pay for that promotion, that free promotion? You can promote yourself. So go launch a snack channel, go launch a Burger Bucket List channel, and use Hot Ones to promote these new shows. Stop shoving content into a channel where people really just want to watch Hot Ones. First We Feast, you rebrand First We Feast. First We Feast isn't First We Feast anymore. It's Hot Ones. You rename it Hot Ones at Hot Ones. It's the Hot Ones channel. And you move your existing shows to new channels or even to a new First We Feast channel so you can start to get a new audience that isn't just Hot Ones audience. Because Hot Ones audience just wants Hot Ones content. They don't want food content. They want Hot Ones. So if you want to get new audience and you want to get new people who are excited about the new shows that you're making, which are great, like I actually watch some of these shows, they're pretty good, you need to put them on a new channel. You need to start to aggregate that new audience, and then you can use Hot Ones as a promotional vehicle for this new content. Same with Cold as Balls. Cold as Balls, like, you know, Kevin Hart, you got all these new shows and all this new content. Stop trying to shove it down people's throats on the Law Network. Instead, put it on these new pages and on new channels and use Cold as Balls and Kevin Hart as a way to promote these new channels, and you'll find you're actually not taking on that much of a risk. It's less of a risk than you thought because you already have that hit show. And if you want to do the real secret, the real right way to do that, these guys embedded John into the Mythical content. And I wonder, I actually don't know the origin story of Mythical Kitchen. I wonder if John approached Rhett and Link and said, hey, I want to start my own channel. And they gave him the go-ahead. But John was a part of this channel for years. So Laugh Out Loud Network and First We Feast, I want you guys to ask yourselves, do you guys have other cast members that are appearing in your hit show? Hot Ones, I already know the answer is no. You need to have some of your guests, some of the talent that's appearing on Snacked and Burger Bucket List. You have to have some of these guys on Hot Ones, at least as guest stars or for a guest segment. That way you build the audience's familiarity with these stars. You aren't just shoving it down their throats in a different show, and you're building familiarity. Then you can give them their own show. Don't make the same mistake that Critical Role and Geek and Sundry made, although it's not really a mistake. They have their own backstory. But don't make this mistake, because if Hot One leaves First We Feast is done, right? But if Burger Bucket List and Snacked and all these other shows, the Pizza Party show, I think it's called Pizza Wars, if those all leave, First We Feast doesn't get hurt. And they may take on some risk in launching a new channel. They may even look crazy. But if you did the work up front and for months on end of introducing your Hot Ones fans to some of your other talent, then you can go and launch that channel, and then it's not a surprise to anybody. And then you're diversifying your audience, and you're building new audience, and you're developing the long-term sustainability of your brand. Like, what happens if Hot Ones ever falls out of vogue? You're screwed, right? So build the long-term sustainability of your brand. Now, have I done this? Hell yeah. Let's go look at GameSpot. GameSpot is the success example that I look at. Now, I have other examples, but let's see. Go to their homepage. They must have a channel breakout somewhere. Yeah, see, look, GameSpot Universe, GameSpot Trailers, GameSpot Gameplay, GameSpot Mobile. Now, some of these channels are derelict now, but some lived on, particularly GameSpot Trailers. And when these were launched, people thought they were crazy. Now, I wasn't the person who launched these channels. The GameSpot team gets all the credit for that, and particularly Ryan Schubert, who you can go Google. Ryan Schubert's a friggin' YouTube god. He's a brilliant human being. I'm a big fan of him. I don't think he has his own channel, but you can definitely catch him on LinkedIn. And then CNET, I saw GameSpot's strategy, and I saw that they were actually getting more views than IGN, which is just crazy. And I started launching channels. So you can go check out CNET Home, CNET Highlights, CNET Cars. Now, I launched CNET Highlights and CNET Home. These channels are still growing, but these channels are still active today and still posting content. Particularly CNET Highlights has kind of been an overnight success. So this strategy does work. Is there risk of failure? Hell yeah, there's huge risk of failure. And the thing to keep in mind is CNET didn't have a Hot Ones. CNET did not have a hit show. GameSpot, they have a couple hit shows, but nothing like Hot Ones. So if you're a LOL network or you're a First We Feast and you have this hit show like Cold as Balls that's getting 2 million views, this strategy is a no-brainer for you. Dive in, start working towards that plan of launching a new channel, start diversifying your audience, and you're just going to grow and grow and grow like crazy. So that's the multi-million-dollar secret, and that's what I do for a living, baby! So if you thought this was interesting, or if you have questions, or you just think I'm crazy, let me know in the comments. I could always use more subscribers. I'd love to hear from you. This is what I do for a living. It's YouTube strategy, and this stuff gets me lit up. I don't know if you can tell how excited I am, but I get really excited about this stuff. We can change the future of brands on YouTube from being these people that never take any risks and never make that much money to being these huge multi-channel networks that are wildly successful and make a ton of money, but you got to do the work. You got to be smart about how you do it. You don't just throw money at the wall or launch channels willy-nilly. You have a cross-promotional multi-month long strategy, just like Good Mythical Morning had, just like Rhett and Link had. That's the secret. All right. Thanks, everybody.